Hi, my name is Prerak, first year student of MBA Data Science and AI at IIT Mandi. Today I'll be continuing the seventh video of 20 minutes reading every day to improve my communication skills. This is the book that we're reading today that is of my syllabus. Name is Managerial Economics. So without wasting much time, let's begin. It's your call if you want to continue watching this or not. In this chapter, we examine the nature and scope of managerial economics. We begin with tracing the origins of managerial economics and then proceed on to definition of managerial economics and a discussion of its relationship to other fields of study. In this chapter, we examine the nature and scope of managerial economics. We begin with tracing the origins of managerial economics and then proceed on to definition of managerial economics. Just give me a second. Yeah, coming back. In this chapter, we examine the nature and scope of managerial economics. We begin with tracing. The origins of managerial economics. We tracing the origins of managerial economics. We proceed to a definition of managerial economics and a discussion of its relationship to other fields of study. We then go on to discuss the basic process of decision making and examine the theory of the firm. Here, discuss the reason for the existence of firms and their functions, and we begin the theory of the firm. Here, we discuss the existence of the firm and their functions, point out the constraints of the firms, and examine the limitations of the firm. Then examine the nature of complex execution. As the importance of using data for managerial context. The chapter appendix shows how to solve managerial problems using spreadsheets. Each section of this chapter includes one or more real-world case studies that clearly illustrate the major concept introduced in the particular section. This is an important chapter because it defines the subject of managerial economics, clearly shows its relationship to other fields of study, and it examines the great importance and relevance of managerial economics in all business and economic decision-making and programs in today's global economy. Nature and scope of managerial economics. We begin with tracing the origins of managerial and proceed to a definition of managerial economics and a discussion of its relationship to other fields of study. We then go on to discuss the basic process of decision making and examine the theory of the firm. Here we discuss the reason of the existence of firms and their functions, and we define the value of the firm, point out the constraint faced by firms, and examine the limitations and theory of the firm, including the principal agent problem. Then we examine the nature of profits by distinguishing economic and business profits and by analyzing their function in a free enterprise system. Subsequently, we discuss business ethics. Finally, we examine the importance of introducing an international dimension into managerial economics to reflect the globalization of production and distribution in today's world, as well as the importance of using the internet as a crucial international and needed to reflect globalization of culture and distribution of today's world as well as the importance of using the internet as a crucial source for information and data for managerial economics. The chapter appendix shows how to solve managerial problems using spreadsheets. Each section of the chapter includes one or more real-world case studies, which clearly illustrates the major concept introduced in the particular section. This is an important chapter because it defines the subject matter of managerial economics. It clearly shows its relation to other fields of study, and it examines the creative parts of the elements of managerial economics and non-business and economic decision-making situations and program in today's global economy. Origin of economics. In this section, we delve into the origins of economics, how it came out to be a field of study, and influence some great economists had on the subject. A discovery of economics. Who invented economics? The answer may range from no one to all of us. As an individual, we all are restored with economic sensibility, and yet no one person can claim to be the source of economic knowledge. Many Indians like to think of Kautilya's Arthashastra to be the first book of economics, written in 3rd century BC. However, Kautilya wrote about statecraft and political science to touch upon economic affairs as a matter of a king's duty rather than a study of economic issues. The modern day understanding of economics began when Adam Smith, a philosopher, published his book An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth and Nations in 1776. He invoked a set of questions, context, and engrossing discussions that formed the basis for economic studies thereafter. Another significant contributor was David Ricardo, who published his book on the principles of political economy and taxation in 1817. Smith and Ricardo founded an economic philosophy which eventually came to be known as the classical school of economics. Interestingly, the term economics was introduced by Alfred Marshall through his book Principles of Economics in 1890. Until then, the subject was known as the political economy. Marshall changed the name of the subject for two reasons. Economics term was introduced by Alfred Marshall through his book Principles of Economics in 1890. Until then, the subject was known as political economy. Marshall changed the name of the subject for two reasons. First, assert that economics can stand its own as a social science with issues different from those of politics, and second, because political economy had become a much maligned term due to the writings of Thomas Stewart Malthus. Marshall changed the name of subject for two reasons. First, assert that economics can stand on its own as a social science with issues different from those of politics, and second, because political economy had become a much maligned term due to the writings of Thomas Stewart and Malthus, an essay on the principle of population, and Karl Marx. Malthus agreed that political economy was doomed to fail due to problems of geometrical progression of population and arithmetical progression of food supply, whereas Marx argued that economic system is an instrument of endless class exploitation and therefore a violent revolution is the only way out. Once Marshall initiated a dispassionate, ideology-free and objective study of economics, the social science grew by leaps and bounds. Once Marshall initiated a dispassionate, ideology-free and objective study of economics. Once Marshall initiated dispassionate, ideology-free and objective study, the social science grew by leaps and bounds. Economic studies reached their pinnacle in the 20th century, particularly between the world wars, when John and Maynard Keynes guided the wartime economy of UK and guided USA out of the Great Depression. He worked as a major architect of the Bretton Woods system. The same period, economic philosophy of Karl Marx led to the formation of the Communist Bloc. The work of Keynes also led to the bifurcation of economics into microeconomics and macroeconomics, as the issues of principle of the two were recognized to be different and divergent from each other. The Second World War also contributed in the expansion of scope of economics, including the development economies, game theory, and network theory. There have been many more great economists since then, such as John Kenneth Galbraith, Frederick von Hayek, Milton Friedman, Gary Becker, Kenneth Arrow, George Akerlof, John von Neumann, Joseph. There have been work of Keynes also led to the bifurcation of economies into micro and macro, as the issues and principles of the two were recognized to be different and divergent from each other. The Second World War also contributed in the expansion of scope of economics, including development economics, game theory, and network theory. There have been many more great economists since then, such as John Kenneth Galbraith, Frederick von Hayek, Milton Friedman, Gary Becker, Kenneth Arrow, George Akerlof, John von Neumann, Joseph Peter, Jean Tirole, Robert Kahn, Amartya Sen, Robert Solow, and so on. Interestingly, the more intensive economic studies became, the more the economists got divided. Some of the major divisions include classical, Keynesian, neoclassical, monetarist, fiscalist, Chicago School, Boston School, and so on. Nevertheless, economic science continues to benefit from such discussions, discoveries, and healthy rivalry. Scope of managerial economics. In this section, we define the function of managerial economics and examine its relationship to economic theory, management decision sciences, and functional areas of business administration study. Definition of managerial economics. We define the function of managerial economics and examine its relationship to economic theory, management decision sciences, and functional areas of business administration studies. Managerial economics refers to the application of economic theory and the tools of analysis of decision science to examine how an organization can achieve its objectives more efficiently. The meaning of this definition can be examined with the aid of figure. Management decisions need to be made in any organization, be it a firm, non-profit organization, or a government agency. Need to be made in any organization, be it a firm, not-for-profit organization such as hospital or university, or a government agency when it seeks to achieve. Management decisions need to be made in any organization, be it a firm, not-for-profit organization, or a government agency when it seeks to achieve some goal or objective subject to some constraint. For example, a firm may seek to maximize profits subject to limitations on the availability of essential inputs in the face of legal constraints. Management decisions need to be made in any organization, be it a firm, non-for-profit organization, or a government agency when it seeks to achieve some goal or objectives subject to some constraint. For example, a firm may seek to maximize profits subject to limitations on the availability of initial inputs, essential inputs, and in the face of legal constraints. A hospital may seek to treat as many patients as possible at an adequate medical standard with its limited physical resources, technician, nurses, equipment, beds, and budget. A hospital may seek to treat as many patients as possible at an adequate medical standard with its limited physical resources and budget. The goal of state university may be to provide an adequate education to as many students as possible, subject to the physical and financial constraint it faces. Similarly, a government agency may seek to provide a particular service to as many people as possible at the lowest possible cost. In all these cases, the organization faces management decision problems as it seeks to achieve its goal or objective. Similarly, a government agency may seek to provide a particular service. Government agency may seek to provide a particular service which cannot be provided to as many people as possible at the lowest possible cost. In all these cases, the organization faces a management decision problem as it seeks to achieve its goal or objective subject to constraint it faces. The goals and constraints may differ from case to case, but the basic decision-making process is the same. Relationship to economic theory. The organization can solve its management decisions by the application of economic theory and the tools of decision science. The organization can solve its management decision problem by the application of economic theory. The organization can solve its management decision problems by the application of economic theory and the tools of decision science. Economic theory refers to microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics is the study the organization can solve its management decision by the application of economic theory and tools for decision science. Economic theory refers to microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics is the study of the economic behavior of individual decision-making units. Economic behavior of individual decision-making units such as individual consumers, resource owners, and business firms in a free enterprise system. The study of economic behavior of individual decision-making units such as individual consumers, resource owners, and business firms in a free enterprise system. Macroeconomics, on the other hand, is the study of total or aggregate level of output, income, employment, consumption, investment, and prices for the economy viewed as a whole. Although the microeconomic theory of the firm is the most important element in managerial economics, the general macroeconomic conditions of economy, such as level of aggregate demand, rate of inflation, and interest rates within which the firm operates are also very important. Economic theories seek to predict and explain economic behavior. Economic theories usually begin with a model. This abstracts from the many details surrounding an event and seeks to identify a few of the most important determinants of the event. From the many details surrounding an event and seeks to identify a few of the most important determinants of the event. For example, the theory of the firm assumes that the firm seeks to maximize profits, and on the basis of that, it predicts how much of a particular commodity that the firm should produce in different forms of market structure or organization. While the firm may have other aims, the profit maximization model accurately predicts the behavior of firms and therefore be accepted. Thus, the methodology of economics and science in general is to accept the theory or model if it predicts accurately and if the predictions follow logically from the assumptions. Relationship to the decision sciences. Management economics is also closely related to decision sciences. These use the tools of mathematical economics and econometrics to construct and estimate decision models aimed at determining the optimal behavior of the firm, how the firm can achieve its goal most efficiently. Specifically, mathematical economics is used to formalize, that is, to express its equation from economic models postulated by economic theory. Digital economics is also closely related to the decision sciences. These use the tools of mathematical economics and econometrics to construct and estimate decision models aimed at determining the optimal behavior of the firm. These are the tools of mathematical economics and econometrics to construct and estimate decision models. Managerial economics closely related to decision sciences. These use the tools of mathematical economics and econometrics to construct and estimate decision models aimed at determining the optimal behavior of the firm. Specifically, mathematical economics is used to formalize the economic models postulated by economic theory. Econometrics then applies statistical tools, particularly regression analysis, to real-world data to estimate the models postulated by economic theory and forecasting. For example, economic theory postulates that the quantitative rate of a commodity is a function or depends on the price of commodity. Quantitative market depends function of or depends on the price of commodity, the income of consumers, and the price of related commodities. Assuming constant taste, we may postulate the following formal mathematical model: Q is equal to F. Quantity is equal to function of price, income, consumer price of related commodities. Assuming constant taste, we will postulate complementary and substitute commodities. By collecting data on QIDs for a particular commodity, we can estimate the empirical econometric relationship. This will permit the firm to determine how much quantity would change with the change in price and to forecast the future demand for the commodity. This information is essential in order for management to achieve overall objective for the firm most efficiently. To conclude, managerial economics refers to the application of economic theory and decision science tools to find optimal solution to managerial design problems. Relationship to the functional areas of business administration studies. Having defined the subject matter of managerial economics and its functions, we can now examine the relationship between managerial economics and the functional areas of business administration studies. Having defined the subject matter of managerial economics and its function, we can now examine the relationship between managerial economics and the functional areas of business administration studies. The latter include accounting, finance, marketing, human resource management. Relationship of the functional areas of business and administration studies. Having defined the subject matter of managerial economics and its function, we can now examine the relationship between managerial economics and the functional areas of business administration studies. The latter includes accounting, finance, marketing, or human resource management. Functional areas of business administration studies have been defined. Subject matter of managerial economics and its function. We can now examine the relationship between managerial economics and the functional areas of business administration studies. The latter includes accounting, finance, marketing. Defines subject matter of managerial economics and its function. We can now examine the relationship between functional areas of business administration studies. Or human resource management and production. These disciplines study the business environment in which the firm operates, and as such they provide background for managerial decision making. Study the business environment in which the firm operates, and as such they provide the background for managerial decision making. Thus, managerial economics can be regarded as an overview course that integrates economic theory, decision sciences, and the functional areas of business administration studies, and it examines how they interact with one another as the firm attempts to achieve its goal most efficiently. Most students taking managerial economics are likely to have some knowledge from other courses of some of the topics presented and tools of analysis used in managerial economics. Students taking managerial economics are likely to have some knowledge from other courses of some of the topics presented and tools of analysis used in managerial economics. While reviewing these topics and studying the others, the student should pay particular attention to the overall decision-making process by which the firm can achieve its objective, since this is the ultimate goal of managerial economics. In short, managerial economics is not the study of a number of independent topics, but the use of economic theory and management science tools to examine how a firm can achieve its objective most efficiently within the business environment in which it operates. If all students in a managerial economics course had already taken courses in economic theory, in a mathematical economics and econometrics, and in the functional areas of business, then managerial economics could concentrate exclusively on its integrating and synthesizing role in analyzing the decision-making process. As it is, most students have had some of those courses, but not all. Thus, a managerial economics course, while stressing the process of reaching optimal managerial decision, must also present theories and tools required to make such optimal managerial decisions. Thus, a managerial economic course, stressing the process of reaching optimal managerial decisions, must also present theories and tools required to make such optimal decisions. Thus, a managerial economic course, while stressing the process of reaching optimal managerial decisions, must also present theories and tools required to make such optimal managerial decisions. For this managerial economics have taken all the courses in mathematical economics and econometrics, and in the functional areas of business, the managerial economics will concentrate exclusively on its integrating and synthesizing role in analyzing the decision-making process. As it is, most students have had some of those courses, but not all. Thus, the managerial economics course, while stressing the process of reaching optimal managerial decisions, must also present the theories and tools required to make such optimal managerial decisions. The basic process of decision making, regardless of the type, all decision making processes involved can be subdivided into 5 basic steps as shown below. The first step involves defining the problem that the firm or organization faces. For example, in 1979, Xerox Corporation, which invented the copying machine in 1959 and no competition until 1969, found itself unable to compete with Japanese copiers, which were of better quality and cheaper. The second step in the decision-making process is for the firm or organization to determine the objective of the firm. The second step in the decision-making process is for the firm or organization to determine the objective of the firm. In the case of Xerox, the company had to decide whether to try to meet the competition or leave the copy market to the Japanese and move on to develop and produce some other more technologically advanced products. Xero decided to stay in the market by trying to meet the competition head on. The third step is is to identify the options of range of possible solutions to the problem defined in step 1 in order to achieve the objectives set in step 2. In the case of Xerox, the range of choices included trying to improve quality while reducing the cost of production and some American plants. Imports from Japan, those parts and components that could be produced better and more cheaply in Japan, or transfer its entire production of copies to Fuji Xerox, its Japanese subsidiary. The first step involves defining the problem that the organization faces. The second step is the decision-making process. Decision-making process for the firm or organization to determine the objective of the firm. Determine the objective of the firm. Second step is for the firm or organization. The second step in the decision-making process is for the firm or organization to determine the objective of the firm. Xerox company had to decide whether to try to meet the competition or leave the hobby market to Japanese and move on to develop and produce some other more technologically advanced product. Xerox decided to stay in the market by trying to meet the competition head on. The third step is to identify the options or range of possible solutions to the problem defined in step 1 in order to achieve the objective set in step 2. In the case of Xerox, the range of choices included trying to improve quality while reducing the cost of production in its American identifying the problem, determine the objective of the problem. The third step is to identify the options or range of possible solutions to the problem defined in step 1 in order to achieve objectives in step 2. Identify possible solutions. Components that could be produced better and more cheaply in Japan or transfer its entire production of copies to Fuji Xerox, Japanese subsidiary. The fourth step is the decision-making process. It's for the firm or organization to select the best possible solution or course of action among the choices identified in step 3. In the case of Xerox, the fourth step of the decision-making process is for the firm or organization to select the best possible solution or course of action among the choices identified in step 3. In the case of Xerox, the firm had to select the best possible solution or course of action among the choices identified in step 3. In the case of Xerox, this required reorganization and integration of development and production and an ambitious company-wide quality control effort in its domestic plants with the direct involvement of Fuji Xerox as well as the importation of parcel cabinets that Fuji Xerox could best produce in Japan. The fifth and final step is the implementation of the best possible solution identified in step 4. To continue with our example, Xerox greatly increased employee involvement, brought suppliers into the early stages of product design, greatly reduced inventories and the number of suppliers, and used Fuji Xerox to produce in Japan those parts and components that could be better supplied from Japan and more important to monitor the progress of the company. With quality control program and customer satisfaction. Taking these drastic actions, Xerox was able to reverse the trend of loss of market share to Japanese competitors. The decision-making process analyzed above was for the most part introduced by Peter Drucker and now is being revolutionized by the rapid globalization of the world economy and by worldwide spread use of computers and information technology. These and in all the other boxes reflects the decision-making process. Xerox greatly increased employee involvement, brought suppliers into the early stages of product design, greatly reduced inventories and the number of suppliers, and used Fuji Xerox to export to Japan those parts or components that would be better supplied from Japan and more important to monitor the progress in the company-wide quality control program and consumer satisfaction. By taking these drastic actions, Xerox was able to reverse the trend of its loss of market share to Japanese competitors. The decision-making process analyzed above was for the most part introduced by Peter Drucker and is now being revolutionized by rapid globalization of world economy and by the widespread use of computers and information technology. These and all other boxes in the text and specifically deal with how a firm reaches a business decision and try to determine if the above five-step managerial decision process was in fact followed and will evaluate the outcome of its application. In other words, we want to see the managerial decision-making process at work. In these and in all other boxes in the text. That deals with how a firm reaches business decision, we will try to determine if the above five-step managerial decision-making process was in fact followed and will evaluate the outcome of its application, that is, did it lead to the best managerial decision by the firm. In other words, we want to see the managerial decision making process at work. Peter Drucker, the man who invented management. Many of the management theories and ideas examined in this and other management books have been introduced by Peter F. Drucker, who has been justly called the man who invented management. He was certainly the most important management thinker of the past century. Drucker passed away in November 2005 at the age of 95. Many of the management theories and ideas that we now consider conventional wisdom are commonplace were in fact first introduced by Peter Drucker, and he strongly influenced most business leaders such as Bill Gates of Microsoft, Andrew Grove of Intel, and Jack Welch of General Electric, and many political leaders such as President George W. Bush and Newt Gingrich, the former leader of the House of Representatives not only in the United States but throughout the world. In his 1945 landmark study of General Motors, The Concept of Corporation, Drucker introduced decentralization as a principle of organization. Landmark study of General Motors, The Concept of Corporation, Drucker introduced decentralization as a principle of organization, which by the 1980s had been adopted by more than three-quarters of American companies. In his 1954 book, The Practice of Management, he asked seemingly naive but fundamental question: what business are we in? Who are our customers? What does the customer consider value? In the same book, Drucker emphasized the importance of managers and corporations setting clear long-term objectives and then translating them into more immediate and achievable goals. In The Effective Executive, Drucker says that managers should focus on important matters in order to avoid wasting time on non-essentials, to focus on substance rather than style, and on institutionalized practices over charismatic or cult leaders. It was a result of the following question that Drucker asked Jack Welch, who soon after he later became CEO, Corporate Executive Officer of General Electric, GE. If you were not in a business, would you enter it today? If you were not in a business, would you enter in it today? And if the answer is no, what are you going to do about it? That Welch continued. Decided that GE either had to be number one or number two in the particular line of business or get out of it. It was this one principle that Jack Welch followed during his 15-year tenure as GE CEO, and that was responsible for the spectacular performance of GE during those years. Some of the other basic management principles introduced by Drucker are the necessity of empowering workers and treating them as resources rather than just as costs in a profit-generating machine. The necessity of empowering workers and treating them as resources rather than just as costs in a profit-generating machine. The world was moving from an economy of goods to an economy of knowledge, where value is created more by brain, power, and knowledge workers rather than the sweat of laborers. Some of the other basic management principles introduced with the necessity of empowering workers and treating them as resources rather than just as costs in a profit-generating machine. The world was moving from an economy of goods to an economy of knowledge, where value is created more by brain power and knowledge workers than by sweat of laborers. Third, the corporation is a human community built on trust and respect and satisfying workers. The corporation is a human community built on trust and respect and satisfying workers. Desire for continuous training and learning. Change should be exploited as an opportunity rather than viewed as a threat. And every decision is risky, and risk can be minimized if managers know when a decision is necessary, how to clearly define and directly tackle it, and that a decision has not been made until a way it is found to implement it. Until you found the management revolution. Business and society are today in the midst of a revolution comparable to the industrial revolution in both scale and consequence. Today's revolution has four components: the globalization of markets, the spread of information technology and computer networks, the dismantling of traditional managerial hierarchies, and the creation of a new informational economy. These four components are all occurring quickly and simultaneously and are affected by and affect one another. Globalization, the first component of today's revolution, once meant simply exporting some goods and services to other nations and maybe setting up a few production facilities abroad. Today, globalization means that more and more managerial decisions must consider the world as a whole rather than the region of the nation as the relevant marketplace. Because of the tremendous improvement in communication and transportation, tastes are converging internationally. Many more products and converging internationally, many more products than in the past are now important, and most other have parts of components made abroad, and domestic product producers face ever-growing competition from abroad. The second component of today's revolution is the spread of information technology. Second component of today's revolution is the spread of information technology and computer networks. Practically every bank teller, post office worker, retail clerk, telephone operator, bill collector, operations manager, and so on works with a computer today. This greatly speeds up the delivery of goods and services, cuts waste, reduces inventory, and generally increases productivity. The second component of today's revolution is the spread of information technology and computer networks. Practically every bank teller, post office worker, retail clerk, telephone operator, bill collector, operations manager, and so on works with a computer today. Globalization, first component. Today's revolution, spread of IT and computer networks. Practically every bank teller, post office worker, retail computer operator, telephone bill collector, operations manager, and so on works with the computer today. This greatly speeds up the delivery of goods and services, cuts waste, reduces inventory, and generally increases productivity. The computer has also dismantled traditional managerial hierarchies and decimated the ranks of middle management. The third component of today's revolution. In the past, the middle managers were the transmission lines of information between top management and workers. Today, information can, in most instances, be transmitted from top management directly to workers and vice versa by a simple tap of a computer key and without any need of a middleman agreement. Middle management. Surviving middle managers are today assuming more important roles and are increasingly being used to shelter senior managers from the day-to-day operations of the firm so that latter can concentrate their energies on strategic management of the firm. The fourth component of today's revolution in the spread of information economy with the creation of value is increasingly based on knowledge and communication rather than as in the past on natural resources and physical labor. More, for example, many auto repairs will soon be not by a mechanic with a wrench, but a technician who fixes an engine not by reprogramming a computer chip. And goods and services will increasingly be marketed and distributed electronically. Today's four-pronged revolution affects drastically not only how traditional products and services are produced and distributed, but also the entire organization of production, consumption, and management in ways that are not yet to be fully evident or understood. Can you think of this revolution taking place in, say, Indian banking, retail, or manufacturing industries? So, guys, today I read till page 11. Probably these weren't 10 pages, it were in less than 10 pages. but the gist of it was very good. I should not use such adjectives like very good because these describe general qualities and these are qualitative statements or terms. How we should define it or how I should define it is in quantitative terms. Economics was introduced in a very practical sense. The initial began a storytelling which involved how economics came to life. Drucker, Keynes, Karl Marx, how these people did what they did and how the economies have changed till now from having a closed economies back then to having open economies and globalization, how it changed the overall world economy, how the middleman is gone now. The top management can directly get in touch with laborers. Laborers are not seen as a cost now, they are seen as resource, and therefore their brains are to be incentivized in a way which works in their favor of overall firm's objective or fulfillment, the goal which a firm wants. More which I learned was that now most of the works in this world are done by a computer. So information technology and networks have affected world a lot along with management. Decision making is mostly now taken with the help of online things and stuff. So this is what I discussed and the 5-step program that Xerox also applied with the help of managerial economics. What managerial economics is mixing of economics theories, math of economic theories plus decision making process into taking a decision which is in line with the objectives, firm or goal. And moving on to the Xerox thing. Xerox, what I learned from Xerox is totally a very normal thing that when there is a problem, you need to have a structured way of thinking, which will help you in further having a better decision making process, and that is going through that decision making process will help you reach a solution which is optimal and efficient and takes in consideration every stakeholder. So this is also what I learned. Apart from this, I believe just reading the text doesn't improve my communication skills because while I'm reading, I'm continuously involved in the story, what is happening. But to improve in communication skills, although I'm seeing some changes in my communication skills, might be a reason because I have to talk to my friends here at IIT in English only. I have made friends with people who don't know Hindi. So although I'm crappy, I'm still learning. So I'm leaving it for now. We'll meet tomorrow again. Signing off, Prerak Sharma, MBA Data Science India students. Bye. You can connect to me by liking, sharing, and commenting anything that you like in the comments below. Or I've also shared a link button up there. You can connect to me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Bye. Signing off. Prerak Sharma.